Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What a stupid question to ask. It really is. It is. Interviewer, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Me? Well, I'm going to tell you that I see myself at your company at a role where I contribute to the organization's success. And you will not believe me that I'm being genuine, but then I will say that anyway because this is the only answer I know you're looking for. Right? If you're wondering how to answer this question properly and increase your chances to win that job, then stay tuned until the end. I am Deniz Şaşal. I'm a manager with PwC Consulting, and for the past 10 years I've been interviewing thousands of candidates as a hiring manager. At the Career Mastery and in this YouTube channel, I try to change some of the notion when it comes to recruitment. So whatever you hear from me represent my own view as a hiring manager. I'm not HR, never been, nor have any intentions to become one at any point in my career. Alright, so let's continue. In an ideal world, if you're interviewing with a highly professional company and highly professional hiring managers, they won't ask you this question, that, where you see yourself in 5 years, because they know that you're just going to lie, right? I hope they really won't. It's meaningless and encourages the candidate to just lie. It serves no purpose. But here's the thing. We're not living in an ideal world. And the chances they will ask you this question is very, very high. In fact, unfortunately, I was asked this question when I interviewed for PwC Consulting almost 4 years ago. Worst of all, this question came directly from the partner himself. And not partner in charge of HR, but partner in charge of strategy consulting. So there you ask. All right. I will share with you a beautiful answer. But first things first, here are what not to do. Number one, don't try to be funny, for God's sake. I remember at least 4 candidates who said they saw themselves in my position in 5 years. The funny thing is, I didn't even ask where they saw themselves in 5 years. I didn't even ask that, really. I just asked about their future plans and whether they'd like to stay in Dubai over the foreseeable future, because after all, this is an expatriate-oriented country and we have a very high expat turnover. So, plus this is probably the oldest joke in the book, right? Where are they learning this from? Seriously, please don't do that. It's not funny and also not even logical. If I'm interviewing you for a junior consultant role, it's going to take you a lot more than 5 years to become a manager like me. So just don't shoot yourself in the foot, Good. Another no now. You don't really need to talk about your ambitions for future, right? Start from today. After all, we're interviewing you to fill a current role, not necessarily a role that you will be doing 5 years from now, and then we're spending all those 5 years just to train you. No, right? I hope it's making sense to you. All right, now let's move on to constructing the perfect answer. I will give you 2 approaches to this question. First, I will share with you the conventional and safe approach. And once it is out of the way, I will share with you my way. And my way works, well, it worked great for me and a lot of people I know, but it's up to you. So, all right, the first one, the safe approach. It is the approach that I call bullshit. It's the bullshit approach. But anyway, so to craft your perfect bullshit answer, you need to hit certain triggers. The way I see it is they're like this. The first one is you need to show them you're committed and not a 2-year jumper. Another one is the reason you're here is not to find a quick solution to your unemployment, but rather you're thinking of us as your last destination in your corporate career. Simply, you're not here to wait for the next best offer. Then off you go, right? Not like that. From hiring manager's perspective, this is a big challenge. Hiring someone, going through HR and shortlists and resumes, and that's a lot of work. And it's very resource intensive, time being the most important one. Another one, ambitious and assertive characters are kind of in high demand, especially for certain roles like sales. Please keep that in mind. It's really important. So if you're applying to a sales role, then feel free to clearly state that you're looking to grow with the company, learn from the best, and ultimately, when you're ready, take on more responsibilities. Not necessarily just for sales role, but any role that kind of requires assertive characters. So a safe bullshit answer may look something like this. I've also put it in the description below. I'd like to deliver to the best of my abilities while learning from the best. Having said that, I see myself 5 years down the road growing into a managerial role and demonstrating my leadership capabilities. Right. Another one. I'm really looking forward to spending the next 5 years in an organization where I feel I share all of its values, especially when it comes to this value, whatever it is. I would love to have the opportunity to demonstrate my leadership capabilities when the time is right, hopefully within 5 years, and contribute to its growing success. As I said, it's the bullshit answer, but it's unfortunately the safe one. Alright, so as you see from these responses, they're safe answers, but not necessarily something I would say. This is especially true if I'm interviewing with a hiring manager, right? So the hiring manager will most probably be your direct line supervisor. So, do you really want to start that relationship based on lies and bullshits? I wouldn't, and I didn't. When I was asked this question 5 years ago, my answer was something like this. So he asks me, his name is Ahmad, Dennis, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was thinking, let me gather my thoughts. I literally said that, because you need to think sometimes, right? And you should try to. And then I said, judging by the fact that where I saw myself in the past and where I ended up, it's really hard for me to say it, because the only way I can see the future is by looking at my past, right? And if you asked this question to me almost 10 years ago when I was working at S&P, Standard & Poor's, as a financial analyst, I'd tell you I wanted to be an investment banker and make $1 million bonuses. Didn't happen. 5 years later, I was a project management consultant. 2 years later, then I was a sustainability consultant. And now here I am interviewing for a management consulting role, which I can confidently do very well. So as you see, where I wanted to be almost never happened, and it's really hard to say where I will be in 5 years. It's even hard to envision. But I guarantee you one thing. I will do my best in this role and try my best to have a wonderful career at PwC with your team and with your leadership. And when the time comes, I will assume more leadership roles, hopefully easing some of your intense workload. This is what I said. And when I gave this answer, something incredible happened actually. Partner was definitely shocked hearing my answer, and I could tell he wasn't expecting this. He really wasn't. But he really wasn't impressed, because after maybe having a 30-year career, it was probably the first time somebody ever told the truth to him, right? It's amazing. And he was very impressed. I mean, he, like the rest of the interview was, he was completely engaged. He was patting me in the back and consoling me and telling me that, son, that's okay. We don't always know what we want. And, especially if you're in your 20s, it's very difficult, but don't worry, things will be a lot more clearer, if you work with us, if you choose to work with us, he said. I was like, wow, this interview is going really, really well. I couldn't ask for a better interview for sure. And imagine this person was a senior partner at PwC Consulting, a role that is almost as high as it gets. He is very senior, so it just worked. What worked was the honesty. Like, as I said, again, what he is doing is he is just associating my honesty with how I'm going to work with him. He is just basically assuming that I'm going to continue to be honest with him no matter what in future. Like during those intense times when we have a deadline approaching that we need to, deliver those deliverables or the research paper or whatever, he knows that he can count on me. And that's why it's so important. But if I gave him a bullshit answer, maybe he would be okay, fine, take the box and move on, and then look for my other answers to determine whether I'm right for this role. All right, that's it for now. So next time, maybe you can just think of being a bit more honest, and then who knows, you're going to collect maybe a lot of points, right? Before I go, if you can do me a favor and give me a thumbs up if you benefited from this video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Finally, I have one more awesomeness for you. I spent quite a long time preparing a 3-day video training where I teach you how to prepare, pass, and land interviews with multinational companies. It's called Landing Interviews Guaranteed, and it is free.